Good evening, Pittsburgh sports fans, and welcome to the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. Sorry about the late start. I had a little bit of technical difficulties with my headphones, so I had to work around that and get that fixed. Apologize for that. We are on tonight, minus two, but it's just me and Ed tonight. So we still got some stuff to talk about. Yeah, you're stuck with us. That's exactly. Yeah, Ed. I mean, just wanted to touch on some stuff here. Want to get into Aaron Rodgers. You know, that's a big, obviously a big news topic around the Berg here. Also, the Broderick Jones injury going to be out longer than what we all had thought. Team USA wins the gold. Want to get into that. A lot of people are fired up about that, including myself. Awesome job by Team USA. And then Penguins news, some grim news for the Penguins. Sidney Crosby placed on IR, minimum of 4 weeks. Want to talk about, playoff chances? Does this hinder their playoff chances? And then Pirates. I want to do a tribute to Bill Mazeroski. Maz passed away over the weekend, and just a staple in that organization. Also want to talk about spring training thus far. Connor Griffin assessment. He hit 2 home runs yesterday in the Grapefruit League. I know people are saying, "Hey, it's Grapefruit League," but still, though, And then just want to get your take, Ed, on whether these off-season acquisitions move the needle at all. That's topic for discussion. Pitt basketball tipped off here against Stanford just a few minutes ago. Talk about their slim chances of the ACC tournament. Talk about digging yourself a hole. I mean, this team has dug themselves a hole all season. Pretty pathetic. I don't see them. I don't see them making the tournament. Ed, do you?
And no, they'd have to win the ACC tournament. I'm with you. That's the only way they'd make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, right. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll get into that. And then Riverhounds, last week of preseason, starting the season soon. Ed and I will be covering that team. We'll be down there and writing articles and covering the team. Look for that. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. Aaron Rodgers. Is he coming back? Is he retiring? What's going on with that situation? Ed, I'm tired of the Schefters and all these people saying, "Oh, he could do this, we could do that." He's coming back, okay? Let's not. He's coming back. I think they've already talked. I think McCarthy has already had a sit down with him. He's probably told him, "Listen, I'm coming back, but let me just take some time to myself, and then we'll announce it. We'll announce it right before." Free agency, which is what I really believe we're going to get the announcement next week that he's coming back. I don't think that he's going to keep it dragging until free agency. It just doesn't make sense. Omar Khan spoke at the Underwear Olympics yesterday and said, basically, hey, the door's open for him. I don't know. Everything to me points to him coming back. Let's say you.
I'm in agreement with you. Omar Khan did say that it's not going to be like it was last time. And I can't believe and we've talked about this before, if the Steelers are hosting the NFL draft and Aaron Rodgers is not on that stage somehow, somewhere, some way, that's a huge miss for the Steelers, right? So maybe they wait till draft night and say, he comes out with the thing and says, my team, which I'm playing, something like that. Maybe they make it theatrical, dramatic. I don't know. But, I mean, you're right. All signs are pointing to that. I just hope, if I were a Steeler fan, I would hope that they use the draft to get another quarterback because they have to go in the youth direction. This is it for Aaron Rodgers. I can't imagine he'd do it again. He said it last year, but I can't imagine he'd come back. I can't imagine they'd want him.
Well, he's going to be 43 in December.
Yeah. So the GOAT played till 44 and was still slinging it. But I'm with you. But Omar Khan did say it's not going to be like it was last time because they noticed the difference, right? He wasn't there. He wasn't there to learn the Arthur Smith. The difference they have this time is he knows McCarthy's system like the back of his hand, right? He played in it for years. So, and it's also interesting if they go and get, it looks like all signs are pointing to a wideout in the first round. But if they go and get a quarterback, say in the second or third round, is Aaron going to pout at all, or what's his reaction going to be? Is he going to be a professional? That's always up in the air. But I'm with you. All signs I think are leaning toward him returning to the team.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very minuscule chance that he retires, and he is not going to Minnesota. Schefter reported of that. I mean, listen, Schefter, he's the guy really gets on my nerves. He was the one that Aaron Rodgers told to lose my number, right? Didn't he?
He was,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, how much of a pulse in this does he have? I mean, really. I mean,
I think he has. He talks to other people. He's got a very good insider network.
I don't see
that's people hoping. Maybe he's talking to people who are hoping he goes. Which is the difference from him going there, right?
Right. Yeah, I just don't see that happening. I mean, they gave the Ferrari, the keys to the Ferrari to that young kid, and which was stupid.
How many times have we talked about that, Bill?
Really dumb. I mean, I mean, really dumb. I mean, you want to talk about a team that was on the upper trajectory that has now kind of peaked and is now going down, so to speak, going down trajectory. Listen, I think McCarthy plays a big role in this as to why he's coming back. I've said it before. How many times have I said it? I can bring up the news, the interview. He was interviewed by a reporter his second year with the Jets in camp, and they asked him who would you want to play for again? What coach? And he unequivocally said Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, no doubt about it. I'd love to play for him again. So, I think that this is going to be a big, it's going to be a big selling point for him to come back. I just, and I just don't see him going to Minnesota. I just don't see them. He's not going to do that. He's just not going to do that. So, not going to happen. But, all right. Anything else you want to talk about with A-Rod? I mean, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What do you think about Omar Khan really said a lot of good things about Will Howard. What do you make of this whole thing? I mean, obviously 6th rounder. Here's the thing that I say. If you love Will Howard so much, why did you wait till the 6th round to take him? If you're just talking him up like he's the greatest thing, why did you wait till the 6th round to take him?
And why did all 32 teams pass on him? Yeah, and why did all 32 teams pass on him? I mean, here's my take on Will Howard, right? He was average. He was average at Kansas State, got chased out of Kansas State, went to a team that spent $20 million, had a pro offensive line, incredible wideouts, had a great defense. I mean, there's no knocking the kid. I just don't think he has the escapability that this kind of pro quarterback these days needs to have. He wasn't that, flexibly athletic. And, by flexibility, I mean hip switch and, quick twitch muscles. He just wasn't that person, right? So I think, honestly, that I don't have a read on the dude, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a read on the guy unless they put him. And here's the problem: he's never going to get live reps. How do you give him live reps, right? I mean, you don't need. Aaron needs maybe a week or two to get ready. I mean, if you want to put him ones versus ones in a preseason game, but then again, it's not like preseason's so hard to gauge. Since there's fewer games, right?
Right.
So that second game, if he goes live against live. Say Rodgers gets the first game, he takes his quarter, you give the young kid the second game and you give, Mason the third game. Maybe they do something like that and you'll be able to see exactly what you have in the kid against some professional football players. But if you don't do that, it's just mere speculation, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm all for giving the guy a chance. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for giving a guy. I think he needs if Rodgers does sign, which I think he is signing and coming back, I think you got to give Will Howard, a lot of reps. You got to give him a lot of reps in camp. You got to give him a lot of reps in preseason. You know what
Right.
you got with Mason Rudolph.
Yep.
Mason Rudolph probably knows the offense. Well, I wouldn't say that he knows. It's a complete regime change now, but he knows the philosophy overall. The Rooney philosophy, and he knows. He knows kind of the system, so to speak. Not that it's different. It's gonna be different. I mean, we know it's gonna be different because you've had the last you've had the same coach for the last 18 years.
Right.
I don't know. I want to see what he can do. I want to see what the kid can do. I mean,
Yep.
I think that's only fair. You would have seen what he could do last year if he wouldn't have gotten hurt. If he wouldn't have gotten hurt, you would have gotten we would have had a better benchmark of where he at in terms of being an NFL quarterback.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about Broderick Jones. So, he had May 1 deadline to exercise his 5th-year option. I don't think that they're going to do it. I don't. They're very concerned. I mean, he has not played well. He has kind of been a bust, I would say. Would you say that he's been a bust?
I would say, yeah, that's probably accurate. He just can't play either left or right tackle. So,
well, and not to mention you have now a neck injury to boot.
Yeah.
And I mean, a neck injury is nothing to mess around about. Go ask Peyton Manning. Go ask Mike Allstott about neck injuries. There's a career ender. Not to say that he's, those guys were later in their career when they suffered those neck injuries. They were at the tail end of their careers, but still not a good sign. Con was when he was asked about this at the combine, he was non-committal. He was non-committal about that, and rightfully so. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you got this guy. He's probably not going to be ready for camp. He's definitely not going to be ready for camp.
Right.
So what do you do in this situation? He hasn't panned out. It'd be different if you moved him back to his natural spot like he did, and he played amazing. It'd be totally different. This could be kind of overlooked, but I mean, I'm just kind of like, what I always say, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And I'm going to say this, Dylan Cook stepped in and played well last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you're, you know what I'm saying? I think the writing's on the wall, if you ask me. So,
well, I mean, I also think, and we've had this conversation with our resident offensive lineman, Sachs, but I think you have to try him. I mean, a good coaching staff tries the guy because you're going to have him for at least another year, right? Because he has a 4-year contract basically,
right.
And we'll see if they give him the extension. I would be shocked if they did, but I would honestly wait till he gets healthy. I would try him at guard. I really would. I just would, because the guy can't have lost his athleticism in 3 years. There's no possible way.
Well, there's something wrong. I mean, there's something wrong. Yeah. Well, what about his just overall football sense?
Exactly.
I mean, how do you play at your natural position? You get moved. Okay, I can see you get moved to the other side, and you maybe struggle a little bit. You get moved back to your natural position. You would think one would be okay. I'm back here. I'm back to my natural position. Let's go.
Let's roll, baby.
Right, and he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. So why is that? That's the $1 million.
That doesn't make sense, right?
No.
I mean, you can't have lost your athleticism.
And I don't want to hear, well, he was playing in the SEC. Okay,
right. That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to hear about it. You're playing NFL caliber teams in the SEC.
Yeah,
I mean, you really are. I mean, I don't want to hear this. Well, it's a big step. If he was in the Mountain West, okay, you can maybe make an argument for that. But
the guy from Montana who took his place did pretty well. Cook. He adjusted pretty well, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he came right in and played well. And he played well, the remaining of the season. It wasn't just like he had one good game, and he stepped in and played well. So I think you're, from that standpoint, I think they're in good hands. I Broderick Jones, I don't know. I don't know why this guy hasn't panned out. I blame it on him. I blame it on him, really. I blame it on him,
Now, do you think that big chunk of money made him different?
I mean, it makes a lot of people different sometimes. That could be it too. That could be it too. Yeah.
I mean, he
Absolutely.
clearly. I can't. I don't think they're going to outright release him this year, right?
No, I don't see that. No.
So I think.
I mean, unless he had a terrible camp.
But I mean, if the injuries keep piling up and he's not ready, do you just do an injury settlement that way and release him that way?
I mean, this neck injury is significant. This is nothing to just,
nothing to fluff off. Yeah.
No, it's not. I mean, neck injuries are bad, especially for football players, especially at that position.
Right.
Especially that position where you're, I mean, right. I mean,
they don't call it the trenches, right?
Right.
Yeah. Totally agree with you. But would you try him maybe if he's healthy?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Would you try him at guard if he's healthy?
I mean, I at this point in time, I'd be willing to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost a lot of weight. Christ, if I'd see what his hands are, I'd put him at freaking tight end if I could. No, I mean, I maybe I potentially play him at guard. See what you've got there. I don't know. I mean, is it worth it? I don't know. Is this guy a lost cause?
But I think you try him everywhere until you sign, until you get rid of him.
Yeah.
Because then the justification is say, hey, look, we tried this guy everywhere, and he just wasn't able to play, as opposed to just cutting him now, So I would try him at guard just because of his size, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't teach size, that's for sure.
Right.
So
it's one thing you cannot teach. Yeah. That'll be interesting.
All right. Anything else Steeler-wise? I think we're pretty much. I don't know.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting. The league year opens up here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I just want to see, if they're going after any free agents. That's going to tell us a lot about the team.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully they use those picks to go up and down the draft. Is what I would do.
I mean, do you agree with me with the whole thing with Rodgers? Do you agree we're going to get it? More than likely, he's going to decide by next week. He's going to decide before the 11th. I'm guessing, right?
Don't you have to?
I mean, I would think you would have to.
Yeah,
I would think you would have to. I would think that would be their timeline.
Right. And I think they have.
I mean, I know if I was Omar Khan, that would be my timeline. Like, hey, we got to know by free agency what your plans are.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're screwing us.
Yep.
Yeah,
so. It's going to be, and he said it's going to be different, so we'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little USA hockey. Just amazing is all I can say about it. Ending a 46-year drought.
To the day.
Yeah, to the day. Just unbelievable. Jack Hughes with the golden goal. Just under 3 minutes into overtime, he gets that golden goal. Connor Hellebuck, just amazing. Stopping 41 of 42 shots. He was just amazing. What'd you think? I mean, what'd you think?
He was the only reason they won the gold. The guy played on his head, like they say in hockey. I mean, some of the saves were just incredible. The one right in front of him that should have been a goal, where he leans back with his stick and is lucky enough to direct it to another Canadian player who missed the easy tap in. So, I mean, Canada is very, very sour because they thought they should.
It's funny. I was listening to Mark Mann today, and he was talking about a guy out of Toronto he played a clip of it, and he was basically like, let the USA have their moment. He's like, they're pretty pathetic. They haven't won in 46 years. Like, let them have. We've been dominant. A blind squirrel finds an acorn every once in a while. It's like, here's the thing. Like, hockey is, what would you say in America? Hockey's probably our sixth sport?
Maybe.
Wouldn't you say? Sixth or seventh sport?
Yeah.
Yeah, last time I checked, it was Canada's number one sport, right?
Yep.
And we beat you at it.
Yep.
We're 6 or 7, in this country. it's like our sixth or seventh sport, and we beat you at your number one sport. And,
Right.
and oh by the way, we've dominated the last decade in World Juniors too.
Yep. We've owned them.
So yeah, I don't know that you might want to walk that back. I forget who it was. He was out of Toronto, but you might want to reconsider that, because it's it's kind of inaccurate when you really look at it.
Yeah, totally inaccurate. I mean, they're just heard about it because they believe they should have it all the time. I mean, and that's why nobody likes Canada, right? I mean, if people liked Canada, they'd root for them more. They're just arrogant, and they think that since they quote unquote thought they created this sport, they should dominate, and that's just not the way it works, And you don't really want that either. I mean, the global expansion of take basketball, for instance, it was all due to the NBA, and this Olympics and Summer Olympics, we're gonna have a tough time with France, for the gold medal. So, honestly, and I've told people this all the time that get on and they start to trash talk. We're in the middle of Six Nations, which is the elite rugby tournament of the world, right? And the Americans. First of all, the 15s. If we put 15 athletes out there from the NFL, we'd never lose, and I mean never lose, right? We're so much more athletic than everybody else, and you could see in our sevens. In our sevens, we had a couple guys who never even made it to the NFL, played college football, and they dominated. We were number one for a while till the Olympics. So, I mean, there's all that stuff. Canada can talk all the trash they want. They won the Four Nations, right? However, we didn't complain that we didn't have Matthew Tkachuk or Quinn Hughes, and we were missing another starter. And you had to go to overtime to beat us, right?
Right.
So no whining about Crosby. I agree. It was at its very best, it was a questionable hit. I think it was closer to dirty than questionable. So, and the Americans didn't do it.
Yep.
Right? The Americans didn't do it.
Yeah, it was to check. Yeah, it was Ratko Gudas, that son of a bitch. F
right,
him. I hope he gets. I hope somebody turns him into a vegetable. I hope he has to suck applesauce through a tube. What? I mean, it was. Yeah, I'm not happy about that.
Right. I mean, it was more dirty than it was unnecessary, but it was definitely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary hit. So, I mean, don't whine at us. I mean, we won fair and square. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. We won fair and square. We had a better goaltender. Bennington did not play well all tournament. Period.
He hasn't been a good goal. I mean, he's had his moments with the Blues.
He's been terrible with St. Louis.
I mean, overall he hasn't. And he's got some emotional issues too. The guy that kind of reminds you a little bit of Hextall. Not as bad, but he's had some issues on the ice where he can't control his emotions too well. Yeah, Connor Hellebuck was just amazing.
He was.
I love the emotional tribute. Everybody with the number 13 jersey. They brought Johnny Gaudreau's children out on the ice, which I thought was great. You looked at his wife in the stands; she had tears in his eyes. I thought it was just wonderful. I love Jack Hughes' comments. And
the funny thing is, I also read Madden he had a post on Facebook today talking about how he knew our country was going to ruin it. He knew it. He knew that they were going to turn it political, and that's what they did.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say this because you opened up the Pandora's box, and I am so sick and tired. And folks out there watching, comment on this too, because I'm hoping you're with me. I am so sick and tired, and this has been going on for a long time. I'm tired of getting politics shoved down my throat every time I want to watch a sporting event. I'm sick and tired of it.
Yep.
People do, I get away. I watch sports to get away from all that BS, and I'm so sick and tired of everybody turning everything into political. If you care that much about politics, maybe you ought to go and I'm just so sick and tired of this. I'm so sick and tired of this. You want, yeah, exactly. You knew that this country was going to ruin it by politics. We can't effing help ourselves. We have to make everything political. They have to just, bend you over and F you with the big political dong. They just have to do it, and I'm getting so sick and tired of it. I'm so sick and tired of it.
Well, it's also people that don't regularly watch sports, because we all watch sports.
Exactly.
We just want to escape from reality.
I'm fired up.
People do tons of, things. And here's the thing that, most people, I'm an avid, so are you. I'm an avid U.S. women's soccer fan, avid U.S. women's hockey fan. Love our basketball team. I watch it all. I can't get enough of it, right?
Right.
And they can't understand, and it all comes down to this, if you're a man, you're just hated. You're white, man. It's so boring. What it is, it's just boring. It's like a couple kindergartnens who won't shut up.
I'm so sick and tired of it. You get people get, and this is on both sides of the political spectrum. People watch sports to get away from the politics. They don't want to. They don't want it shoved down their effing throat all the time. They don't want it. Okay, if you people could get correct. If you could get that through your effing head, I think you'd be better off. I think you'd be the sport for the good of the sport. You're turning people away from sports by doing this. Okay, Absolutely. You're doing. I don't give it. You can say whatever you want to say. You're not a political crusader. Stop the bullshit. Stop it.
Right.
Stop it right now because you're ruining sports by doing this. Yeah. And I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm just so effing sick and I'm not the only one.
Tons of people are turned off.
I don't know why we can't get past this in this country. I don't know why we can't get past, we have to have politics. And I'm so goddamn sick and tired of politics.
Yep.
I really am. I'm so sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and it's infiltrating into sports in every facet, just stop it. Enough is enough. Okay. We don't want to see that bullshit anymore. Just stop. Just stop.
Yeah. Totally agree. There's just no reason for it whatsoever.
No.
It doesn't.
We'd probably be wrong to not mention the women's team that secured their third Olympic gold as well. I mean, and
if you talk about Hellebuck, the women's goalie, she stopped. I mean, it was like 99 out of 101 or 100 out of 102. She was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and they dominated the games. I mean, the only thing that hurt them, and the reason why they got behind Canada is because they beat them so badly, 5-0 in the prelims. They didn't really take Canada seriously because they dominated them. But they got Poulin, their captain, back who didn't play. And hey, man, they were not the better team. Canada was not. USA was, and Canadian women fought their friggin' arses off, right? Yeah. But the United States hockey team, led by Quinn and Jack Hughes' mom, who's the talent scout, did a phenomenal job. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, these girls are so talented. Unfortunately, we're going to lose Knight as the captain. She's going to retire.
Hillary Knight tied the game with 2:04 left in regulation. Megan Keller scores the overtime winner. Both those girls.
Yeah, incredible stick handling by Keller. It really truly was.
Yeah.
To pop the puck and then to beat the goalie 5-hole. They're phenomenal. They're a phenomenal team, and they're going to be the number one team for a while as they get younger because they have an incredible system at U.S. women's hockey, led by Jack and Quinn's mom. So yeah, I think they were incredible, absolutely incredible. Can't wait for. I'm watching the Sheba Lee's Cup right now. And it gives you pride in your country.
They're going to politicize that. We can't help it ourselves. We have to effing politicize everything in this country. We've got to do it. I am so sick and tired of this. I tell you what, you can't even enjoy a moment anymore. Nope. You can't even do it anymore because these people gotta shove politics, gotta sodomize you with politics all the time.
Yeah, they just politicians, it's the lobbyists. It's some of the athletes. I don't want to hear anything. Shut the hell up. Just get on with what you're getting on. Everybody needs an escape from it. Once you can, get out of it and look back on it, you realize how cult-like it is. And, nobody wants to be in a cult. Blink, if you're in a cult, blink twice. Billy and I will get you out.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's get back to Pittsburgh. Penguins, Sidney dressed in that, and he was day to day. I really believe that gold medal game, and you brought this up, Ed, that was just smoke and mirrors. They were saying, hey, he might play. He skated this morning. He might play just so that the Team USA were going to prepare for Crosby. That did not happen. Now we're finding out, and as they announced today, it's worse than what we thought it was, which is, I'm not really happy about I don't like these NHL players playing in the Olympics. Now I know, a lot of people are going to say, "Well, you're wrong for thinking that way," but you take a risk by going in playing in the Olympics. You do, and now you potentially, not potentially, you put your club at risk. I mean, revenue could be lost now. There's a lot of things that you're looking at. He's going to be out 4 weeks. He's going to be placed on IR. This could severely jeopardize the playoff push without your leading scorer. You got 15 games in a very critical stretch coming up, starting tomorrow night. I'll be down there against the Devils. There's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, this is a minimum of 4 weeks. You're currently second in the Metro. You're just, now's the time. You're coming out of this break. You're facing some bad teams, but don't take that lightly. Don't take that lightly, because these teams are looking to get back in the mix as well. So this could be very bad for them. I don't know. This may change things with the trade deadline. It's coming. It's coming fast. March 6th. It's coming quick.
Next week, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, this may change a lot of things. Their plan might be altered as of now when it comes to trade deadline. You might be looking at other things. And I want to get into something real quick. Who do you think needs to step up in the absence of Crosby? I'm going to give you some of my guys who I think needs to step up. You tell me if you agree or if I need to add anybody. But I think when you really look at it, he's had a good year this year, partly because he's been paired well with some of the guys on his line, and that's Evgeny Malkin. I think he's going to elevate his game. I think he's had a good season, and I think he's going to lead, the top 6 forward group. I think he's going to lead it. I think he's the one that's going to step up. He's done it before when Crosby's been out. He's elevated his game. I think he realizes what's at stake right now, and I really believe Malkin's the guy that's going to really, come out in full force coming out of this Olympic break. Another guy is Rickard Rakell. You're probably going to take over. You're slotted to probably take over as a top line center, which means you're going to have to
the center, being that he's a right winger.
Well, they could.
Yeah.
They could very. I was hearing that today that's in the mix, that could happen. Another guy is that Avery Hayes, that new kid, called from AHL. Yeah, he's probably going to get. He's showed what he can do. He's probably going to get in a top. He's probably going to be put in a top line role. What
about Ben Kindle?
Ben Kindle's another guy. He's going to be thrust into a larger role. 18 years old. He's going to provide you some energy and depth.
Yep.
Yeah. I think Brian Russ and Anthony Mantha. I think both those guys. Those guys are 2 veteran forwards, and they're going to be crucial in providing secondary scoring. Okay.
Correct.
And the veteran leadership to boot. Because you're down your captain. So
what do you think about Novak, Tommy Novak?
That's another guy too. That's another guy, who is really he showed some promise. I think that's a good one, Ed. I didn't have that on my list, but that's a good one. I missed that one. So
I mean, they also need they need lights out performances from the goalies, right?
Well, I know it's been thrown around about potentially trading Stuart Skinner. Would you do that? Would you trade him and bring the Russian up? You think he's ready?
He probably is. If I could get something back that I need, say depth on the blue line, or say another, a third line center, because Crosby's eventually coming back. If I could get something like that for him, I think I might do it. Because I think you just bring the kid up. Why not?
I don't know. I just the veteran goaltending. The guy's been in the finals. I don't know. I mean, I just don't. I don't know that you want to lose that. I don't know. What about everybody out there watching? What do you think? Should they get rid of? Should they try to move Stuart Skinner?
It's an interesting
tough, and that's why I said that this changes everything in your trade deadline.
right.
This changes everything
Because you need a rental player for 4 weeks, right? Or 3.5 weeks. Because by next week it'll be 3 weeks.
I think he could be back sooner than this 4 weeks. I really believe it.
Well, the thing is, you only get lower body injury. You don't know what the actual injury is, right? So,
well, I think it could be a sprain, an MCL sprain, is what I'm thinking it is. What do you?
Yeah,
think?
I don't think there's any harm in just telling the public what it is, right? I mean, what's the harm?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the harm is.
I don't get it, but maybe that's just me. I mean, it's not going to make him target. They can still penalize you for targeting, right?
Right.
So,
yep. I don't know.
But you're right. It does change their. Well, it should change their plan. Their plan going into free agent or the trade deadline.
Right.
But
it's just I like I said, I was afraid that this was going to happen. When I saw it, I was like, oh boy. And then you had a little bit of false hope. You're hearing, oh, he's day to day, and you're like, oh, we dodged a major bullet.
Yeah, but I wholeheartedly believe that was just to throw the scent off. I mean, anybody can skate in a straight line. I mean, was he hitting the corners? I don't
true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, changing direction can be an issue when you have that type of injury.
Any injury to your knee, change of direction is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So until we know the exact injury, it's only going to ever be speculating.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back and how they come out of the gates here at the break. You're starting tomorrow night. Your schedule's pretty intense. No doubt about that. Well, I mean that's for all NHL teams coming out of this break. This break really kind of screws up a lot of things, but it's going to.
Well, I mean they piled enough wins earlier. They should have piled up enough wins earlier that it should have a minimal. Shouldn't have the catastrophic effect that everyone thinks it does.
Right. Yeah, I mean you've developed a little bit of a cushion, and my God, you're going to need it now. So,
right, there's no doubt about that.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little Buccos. I want to start off first by just giving a tribute to Maz passing away last week. 89 years old. I mean, my God, I think that that 1960 World Series, that home run, I think I was talking. I was hosting Pittsburgh Sports Tonight the other night on Monday, and I told John Phillips, I said, the only other one that I can remember being like that was when Joe Carter hit that home run in the 93 World Series against the Phillies.
Yeah, Toronto against the Phillies. Yeah, that was an incredible.
Yeah. I mean that one.
Off Mitch.
Yeah. But I mean, when you look at it, that 1960 World Series, I mean, a lot of people said the Pirates had no business winning that World Series, but they persevered. They came back. Mazeroski was a big part of that. Mazeroski was a staple in this organization. I would say when you look at the top 5 Pirates, Maz got to be in that top 5.
No doubt.
I mean, no doubt about it. He was just he was amazing. And he was actually up until a few years back, he was still playing in the alumni games. And I thought it was I was listening to the game on Sunday against the Tampa Bay Rays, And John Wayner was talking about his last alumni game, his Mazeroski's very last alumni game. He was playing second, and I think Rock was playing third. And he said the last play, him and I turned a double play together, and he goes, that was the last play of his of his. He was done playing in alumni games after that. I thought that was pretty neat. But I mean, the 89 years old, that's pretty nice long life. But we're definitely going to miss the Maz. Definitely going to miss the Maz.
Yeah, he's one of the pillars of the organization, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Death is inevitable, but my man lived a long, happy life.
Yep.
He really did.
Amazing, absolutely amazing ball player. So
yeah.
Yep.
The way he got the ball out of his glove was amazing. He showed it one time. You're not even looking and nailing it. And this was probably when it's probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when he was in his early 70s. Still his hand-eye coordination was amazing.
Yeah. Well, he was still playing, and he was in his 70s playing in those alumni games still.
Yeah.
So he was still around. He was always at spring training. He was still around, making his rounds, and I'm sure people in the organization leaned on him for advice because he lived it. He experienced enough in Major League Baseball to offer a lifetime of advice, really. So,
absolutely.
But salute the Mavs. All right, let's get into some Pirates talk here. I got a list of questions here that I want to pitch at you, and I want you to see what you think about them. So, number one, obviously, we saw what they did in the offseason with O'Hearn, with Lau, with Ozuna. Are these additions, Ed, gonna elevate this offense to an above average level? Because I tell you what, they were below average last year, and he added some guys. But to me, like I said it before, I still think you're a couple guys away from really being a potent offense that can score runs and possibly make a run in the playoffs. That's just me. I mean, I just think that unless you got Cruz and Brian Reynolds, that all of a sudden, can be more productive. It can be like all-star production. I maybe, but to me, I don't know that this. I mean, I think it's going to move the needle a little bit when it comes to wins, because I think they're going to. I'm predicting they're going to win like 83 games this year. But yeah. I just don't know that this moves the needle like everybody thinks it's gonna do.
Yeah, I think your first point was the most salient point because it depends on what currently is on your roster, right? So if you look at the teams that are consistently in it and have the big rosters and the big names, Brian Reynolds is their reserve, right? So a starter for your team is their reserve, and they have 3 Brian Reynolds, right? So in order to compete, and stranger things have happened, we all know it. We've all seen the movies, However, it's what's on your team. Are they enhancing your team that's there now, and is it going to create a collective balance there that produces better offense? You have to factor in the managerial decisions as well. Is the manager going to be able to hit that secret sauce every game, or put it this way, 95 of those games, right? Because you can lose 65 games and still have a great season, or 67 games, right? So I think you add in those factors. I don't know, or was it the organization doing semi big names to shut all the fans up, right? So it's kind of hard to figure it out, but I think baseball's so weird because there's so many games, right? So, and you have to hit that secret sauce as far as mixing one around. Look at Skeens. Guys come out, he'll throw the hell out of the ball, and he'll get 1 run, right? It'll be 1-0, and the Pirates offense will produce nothing for him, right?
Which is frustrating.
Yes, exactly. So I think they have to look at that. And for me, I'm more into the youth in your organization. Start bringing them up. Just do it, right? Don't go for these bring your youth. You have great youth. Bring it up.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue to my next question. Is Connor Griffith ready for opening day?
Yes.
Had 2 home runs yesterday.
Right.
Considered one of the most exciting talents in the organization since Barry Bonds. I mean, that's right. What they're saying. I mean, that's just not me talking out. Yeah, that's not just me talking out my ass. there's a lot of baseball analysts that aren't in Pittsburgh that are saying, hey, this kid is – one guy compared him – I forget who it was. It was I forget who it was. He's a top writer. I forget who it was. God, I had his name on the tip of my tongue and I lost it. But he compared him to Willie Mays, if you can believe that.
Yeah, I remember reading that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what some people say. Hey, he needs a little time at AAA.
That's more of the organization, dude. They did the same thing with Skeens. They wasted his talent down there, because of the way they want to do their finances and the way that goofy thing in baseball.
I look at it like Mike Trout. They didn't really waste a lot of time bringing him up back in the day. I remember that, and they were kind of like, hey, he's shown that he's mature and that he can handle this. But why not have him up here? What's the I don't know.
Well, here's what you're going to get from somebody who will call themselves a purist in baseball. Look, they're going to say you could ruin the kid. I think that's utter BS, right? You can't ruin somebody by allowing them to play a professional sport. That doesn't exist, right? The maturation process has to start at some point. It just has to, right? So why not do it now? Just get it over with. Allow the mistakes, because there's always going to be mistakes. And guess what? You're going to get mistakes from 10, 12-year vets as well, right? Go to the youth movement. It's better for the fan base. It's better for the organization. It's just go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your point.
I'm just saying it's going to determine and dictate where this franchise is going by what they do with this player.
No, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I think, this guy's an exception to the role. He's 19 years old, but, he's a hell of a shortstop. The guy can hit.
Yep.
He's got amazing range. 6'4". I mean, very got the amazing range. I just if this kid comes up and you keep him up and you got him ready for opening day and he shows out, this may be the deciding factor in whether your team's has the ability to compete. I'm just saying, I mean,
totally agree.
You've made some acquisitions. You've done some things. This guy could be the piece that's that you're kind of looking for. This could be the catalyst, spark, if you will, with your club. I think you ought to do it.
And the only reason we wouldn't do it is because of the fact that the way that goofy baseball works with years and stuff.
Yeah. JT, hey brothers, great job. Griffin is a real deer. Best prospect since Barry Bonds. I agree, JT. I agree. Totally. I mean, I think that you're going to see what he is in spring training. He's already showed out, and I just think that why not? Why not?
I mean, you know what the typical arguments are going to be, right? Oh, you're going to ruin him. Oh, he needs seasoning. What the hell with that? Bring the kid and let the kid play, right?
Well, like I said, I give Mike Trout as an example. They were like, hey, this kid's ready back in the day. And they did, you know what I mean? They saw something in him, and he, totally. The rest is history.
Yeah.
All right. My next question: how is starting rotation going to manage injuries in depth? You've got obviously, your Cy Young winner, Paul Skeens, and a deep pool of young talent.
Billy, I don't think that's going to be their issue. I really don't. I think it's going to be run support. I think it's going to be run support. And they had those goofy games before they changed managers who made it more consistent. They had those goofy games. We talked about it all year. Lights out pitching, 0 runs.
Right.
10 runs, no pitching. You have to find that sweet spot. And now, it's a tough 3, man. It's Skeens, the innings eater Keller, Bubba Chandler. I mean, you can argue who the 4th and 5th is, but they got arms everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, like you said, you got Skeens, you got Mitch Keller, which I'm glad they kept Mitch. I wasn't sure. I thought he was probably going to be gone. You got Bubba Chandler, you got Braxton Ashcraft, and then you've got a lot of competition between Oviedo, and then the other question is Jared Jones. He's going to start the season on the injured list, recovering from that elbow surgery. but he's going to be back at some point in time, and they're saying probably more sooner than later than what they initially expected. So I think I think maybe you see if Chandler and Ashcraft can take on larger roles and kind of go from there. See if those guys can, I don't know, see if they can, you know, make more starts within the rotation. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you do, but I
this
think
is
that
really where. Go ahead.
No, I know what you're going to say. This is really where the manager. We're going to.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I've read your mind. That's exactly what I was going to say. This is where Donnie Kelly, he's, I think he did a pretty good job taking over last year.
In a tough position.
Yeah, I mean, he took over early in the season as well, and he did pretty good. And I think now he's got a full. He had a full off season, full spring training at the helm, and he needs to make good decisions with these guys. Baseball, it's all about it's. I mean, the manager makes very crucial decisions. Very crucial. Some of these decisions can have and I mean, people say, well, that's that's coaching in general. I get it, but I mean, managers. Really, you have a lot to manage in a Major League Baseball.
He could really make. I mean, he could be a hero if he goes over 500, right?
Yeah.
And JT made the point I was trying to make too. Ozuna, Ahern, and Lowe will definitely help. And you made this point too, Billy. But it's the people that are already here that need to improve.
Correct. And JT, you're exactly. I said, hey, if Ahern, Lau, Ozuna, it's great you have them. But if you can complement those guys with a more productive Reynolds and Cruz, I mean you're now you've got 5 guys who are your bats and your guys that can really do some damage. And if you can do that, if Reynolds and Cruz is I'm really looking at those guys because I know Ozuna, Ahern, and Lau. I think are going to be, I think they're fine, but I really want to see what Reynolds and Cruz, if you can improve production wise, even just a little bit, that's going to help. That's going to help.
And I think totally all agree. JT can agree. It's offensive production, right? You have more than enough arms, and they proved that last
year. Right.
It's going to be the offensive production. Can he insert that player when needed? All that stuff.
Their biggest problem was scoring runs. Period. I mean, that's it. That's it. I mean, there was really nothing else really. They had the pitching, they had the starting rotation, they had the bullpen. You had the defense. You just couldn't score runs,
right?
And you've got to be able to do that if you want to be successful. I mean, I'm hate to sound like real men of genius, but I mean that you have to you've got to be able to score runs in baseball. Period.
Right.
All right. Now that we discussed the starting rotation, what do you think is going to be the long-term plan for Mitch Keller? I think this guy's been in with the Pirates for a long time. I just think that he's in recent years he's been a subject of trade rumors. I don't know. I mean,
again, Billy, that depends on the season. He says JT definitely the pitching is always there. Little suspect on Santana's closer. Yeah, but I mean, you got arms everywhere, right? Yeah. If Santana saves 30 games, that's fantastic because that means your middle relievers are doing a hell of a job.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe they'll get saves as well. Keller depends. It all depends on the landscape of MLB. It really does.
Well, here's the question that I ask: If you come out and you're and the Pirates are looking good in their first, let's say they're I don't know, let's say they're flip flopping between 1 and 2 in the division, come the end of June, right?
Yeah, you go for it.
Are you looking at okay, do we keep this reliable right-hander, or do we flip them to get even more offense or a little depth elsewhere?
Again, that one's hard to answer because we're not in the thick of it,
right?
Because everybody's at 0-0 now. I think that's the exact right plan they should have. That should be the flight plan. Where are we when it matters? When 31st of July comes up.
Right.
So
here's another guy that I want to pitch at you here. Is no pun intended. Henry Davis. I mean, the pitchers love him.
Yeah.
Skeens loves him. He wants Davis as catcher. Keller as well. All those starters are so comfortable with Henry Davis. His biggest problem is hitting. He's a terrible hitter. However, in the offseason, he had a guy, I heard about this, he had a guy that worked with him in the offseason. So what I understood was basically they had a machine that has you step into the batter's box, and it was like a mat that they put down. And what it does is you step on that mat, and you would it's like a batting cage, and you step on that mat, and what that mat does is determine how much weight where your weight's distributed. Yep. Okay, and what they said was when he had first done that, he had 90% of his weight on his back foot. And I wish we had Mac on here tonight because from a golfing standpoint, if you have 90% of your weight on your back foot, you're not going to be able to hit a golf ball.
Nope.
I can tell you that.
Yep.
That, I think, was the biggest problem. What they're saying was that's been corrected, that he's corrected that. 90% of your weight on your back foot as a hitter is not good. It's just not good. That's probably I would say a big portion of his issues in hitting. I would say, so
it's just I mean, that's a great point with the technology coming in. They can freeze frame every movement you have, and you don't want to be sitting back. I mean, there's some power hitters that sat back, but generally they want to be on their toes and able to cover the plate. So
yeah.
All right. This is just he's a beast,
Yeah.
I would keep
all right. What's Pitt doing right now? Do we know?
Yeah, 34-32 they're winning against Florida State.
Against Stanford.
Oh yeah, it's a tree. I thought it was a tomahawk. It's a tree. Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little Pitt basketball to close everything out here. What do you think? I mean, it's trying to stay in the mix for the ACC tournament. What do you think? I mean, they had a crucial victory against Notre Dame the other day, snapping a 5-game losing streak. What are you looking at with this? I mean, if the season ended, they said if the season ended, on Saturday, they said Pitt would have been, they'd have been fighting for one of the final seeds in the 15-team ACC tournament.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
I mean, you have a challenge in stretch. I mean, you got Stanford tonight, you got Cal, you got Florida State, then you got a finale against Syracuse. And you would likely, I would think, need to win 2 more, even to be thought of about securing a spot in Charlotte, right? So probably 3 in all honesty.
Yeah, you got to sweep it. So do they drop the last 4 or last 3?
I don't know.
Yeah, they have 19 teams.
So I think Brandon Cummins, losing him was bad. I mean, that was really, there's been some things, but I
mean, he has to go. It comes down to this. And this is probably a challenge for many college athletic teams. Are you going to be a player or not? If you're not going to be a player, just don't spend any money then, and everybody will know, right? But don't dip your toe in here, dip your toe in there, and think you're going to be a player. If you want to be a player, you got to spend money, period. That's where we are in this day and age in collegiate sports, right? And I think everybody would be fine if they just came out and go, you know what? We want to focus on academics, and we're not, we're putting no NIL. Fine, great, right? But don't act like you care about the athletics then,
Right, exactly.
They have to get rid of it. He has to go.
Yeah, I agree.
The ACC tournament, I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll see what they can do tonight. I mean, they can win tonight. That and then they maybe can squeeze a couple more wins out with this final stretch. Maybe, but they're fighting for that last seed. That's for sure. So
yeah, I didn't realize they dropped that many people out.
Yeah. All right, so we are the Riverhounds are starting.
Yep.
Final week of preseason. We've got Friday. They've got a game against West Virginia and Highmark, and then they play Pitt Saturday, and then that closes out the regular season, folks. They're starting. They're starting soon, beginning of March. Ed and I will be down there covering the team. Look for our articles. Look for our pictures. We'll be doing all that. Look for our interviews. We'll be doing all that with Streampunk Sports. So look for that. We're excited to get this. Your defending champion Riverhounds are we're excited to get this season going. So
yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
All right. Anything else, Ed?
I think we're good, brother.
Okay. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week.